Hello and welcome to the Custis Blue YapCast. Today we're going to talk about be careful what you wish for. So today's episode is brought to you by me, inspired by Lisa asking me questions about. She asked me a bunch of different questions, but it sparked this idea because she was asking kind of, what happened in my life that shaped me who I am, and she was asking about what made me want to do music and things like that. So, and this just got my mind thinking about something that I've been considering for a while, and it's really this. When I was 18, I literally put a prayer out to the universe and said, again, I'd done no music, knew nothing about music, knew nothing about that I wanted to be an artist, a musical artist, and I wanted to inspire people and show people that you can do anything. And that I wanted to be a big artist. That's what I wanted to do. And a successful artist, and I wanted to be a good artist. Now, I couldn't even sing on key, nor did I know what a scale was, nor did I know what a time signature was or anything. That's what I wanted, and it happened because I took a drug, a psychedelic, and it made me feel. It made me kind of have an identity crisis type thing, but not really a crisis. Just like some people would say, ego death. Although I don't think that was what it was. I just think that I had a sudden realization that I wasn't choosing my own life, and I wanted to be the artist of my own life. And when I looked at a blank canvas, if I didn't think of any limitations or anything, I was like, what do I want to paint? And that was what I wanted to paint. And the music I thought was cool, and I thought it was a great way to help people, but also to express themselves. There's a bunch of reasons why. But the thing is, why does this get to be careful what you wish for? I put a prayer out into the world, and I'm just gonna say God. To me, I'm more like a mystic, so I would say that God is more like the universe to me. But also, this is just an ever expanding, idea for me. So, I'm in this context. I just want to say God. I pray because I did. I prayed to God and I said that I this is what I wanted. I wanted to be a really good artist, an amazing artist, and I wanted to inspire people. I then left for Los Angeles, and anyway, I'm not going into the story of what I did. I didn't know anything about music when I went there. It was really probably a dumb idea, but I didn't know what else to do. I genuinely didn't know what else to do, because no one really around me was about it, and it makes sense. I mean, I was literally terrible at all that stuff. So, but this is all beyond the point of what I actually wanted to talk about, which was there are so many experiences. Luckily for me, I always almost always look at the bright side. Maybe not right away, but most of the time I'm always like think, especially then I always thought this is like a lesson from God or the universe. This is a lesson from the universe, and I'm supposed to be having this. And there was a long time where I felt disconnected from that. Afterwards, not during that first period in Los Angeles and stuff, and I now feel connected again to it. But basically, when I sent that prayer out, and when I first said that I didn't believe that I was capable of becoming a good artist, I thought that I was going to have to. My original strategy was that I was going to go to Los Angeles. I was going to figure it out. I was going to try to be basically like an industry plant, and I would basically just be a puppet of the industry for like 10 years. This is literally how I thought. 10 years, I'll just, because when I look at other people, they had like 10 producers and 10 songwriters. So I'm like, oh my God, that person's not even doing anything. So I was like, I'll do that. And then in that process, I'll be able to learn. And maybe 10, 15 years later, after being in the industry, I'll have the leverage to be able to break away and do what I want, hire personal instructors. I'm not even kidding, and get personal lessons to be able to become a better musician and artist and producer. And those were all things. That was genuinely what I believed. And I did not think that I was able to sing, and I didn't know if I'd ever be able to sing. I did not think I was musically inclined at all. Anyway, so I'm in LA. Let's just say I work. Well, I did work. I was working for a company called Vita Modus in the Do Lab, and I was helping design stages. But let's just say after that, I had tapped into some money and spent that money. Got that money stolen by people in the music industry. Stolen, like maybe legally, probably actually illegally, but by bad faith people. And I was like, and a lot of things kind of fell out from under me. So I moved back to Atlanta. I would have been signed if that had worked out. I would have been signed, and I would have had also signed a contract with a really terrible manager who has used all of his clients, drained them for all their money. This is stuff that he's done. And basically like never, like none of their careers flourished. Ruined all their careers. That would have been who would have owned 50% of my music even before the label owned it. Okay? And probably honestly even more than 50% of my music, my masters and stuff. So also I was drinking a lot and stuff. So anyway, let's just say that that's what would happen. Came home to Atlanta. That was, by the way, I skipped a lot of story. That was 4 years. Came home, still had not really learned anything with music. I could sing a little bit, not on key, but as in I could write some songs maybe to like some YouTube beats, basically. When I was working with those people that took my money and stuff, I had songwriters and stuff. I was just like kind of guiding it, but barely even, not even, because I was letting the people, because I thought, again, if I was just like, I'm moldable, I can just be a puppet, I'll just sell it, and then blah, blah. Came home, whatever. I was like, I gotta go home and, with my tail between my legs and figure this out. So I came to Atlanta, well, Macon first, but then Atlanta, because Macon's where I grew up. And I, was a stand-in for Cobra Kai, did some things, but anyway, became really popular on TikTok, got my money up, hired a good producer, good, quote unquote. Tried to make some good music, was under that person's thumb, unable to have much of a say, also wasn't even that talented, still couldn't really play any instruments, still had to take time, and basically lost a bunch of money again. Honestly, I'm not trying to be like that person that's like, I always have crazy exes, but let's just say, and I'm talking talking hypothetically or whatever. I'm not actually talking about an ex. I'm talking about my producer. And basically stole, scammed me, basically. So, and he, by the way, each person that has come in contact with me and done that to me, by the way, has gotten really bad karma. And I still don't wish any bad karma on them, but they got really bad karma. I'm not even kidding. Like really bad karma. None of them have a career, at all. And some of them, and also left me in a better place where it would have been terrible if I had actually went down that route. Even though I thought I needed to. But after that second time, I was like, fuck this guy. I did get to see a little bit more about how I will say that he was a really talented artist in his own way. Um, and I was like, fuck this guy. I can make my own shit. I can learn this shit. To be honest, I'm already, I think, a better engineer than he is. After a couple years, but I picked up the guitar and I started strumming the guitar. I started practicing. I started singing. I started really trying. I'm like, I can do this myself. I wrote a song on my guitar. I was like, oh my God, I just wrote a real song. Like, that's a real fucking song. I did that. I mean, keep in mind, I sent out the prayer when I was 18. I was now like 22. I'm 27. I've been in school I've been like in-person school for 2 years, about to graduate. So 26, 25. Whenever I released the space in between, a little after that is when I really started picking up the guitar. Because I was like, fuck this guy, I can do this. Fuck it, I'm going to school. Fuck it, I'm going to learn this. Fuck it. Blah, 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 blah. And what I'm trying to say is, with every time someone has fucked me over, and that was where all my TikTok money went, by the way. He took that and ran. I'm an idiot. But, and I'm now smarter with contracts and stuff. I don't just usually when you hang out with someone's family, you hang out with their kids, his wife, you do all these things for them, you're really kind to them, you think, oh, they're not going to like fuck you over. Like, you can trust them. You don't have to do the most tight contracts. You don't have to whatever. You kind of do, actually. You kind of do. And it's sad, but that's one of the things I've learned, that you can't trust anyone. And the entertainment industry is a pretty crazy, sketchy place, especially at the bottom of it. I would recommend to just be cautious of yourself. But anyway, that's a lesson in itself. Other lessons in itself. All I'm saying is, I put that prayer out. All those things that happened to me, just those two things, I can keep going, but for now, just keep those two for now, drove me to say, fuck it, I'm doing this myself. Fuck it, I can do this. Fuck it, I gotta do this. Because I wanted it. I really did want it. And it's driven me to be a better artist. Actually become a real artist. Actually what I asked for. Actually what I asked for. What I put out into the world. Literally, in a prayer. In a wish, in a dream, in a prayer, in a manifestation. Literally. It's all happening exactly as I asked. I really, it's unbelievable. I wish that I could just give what's in my brain to you so you could see what I'm trying to say, because I don't know if I'm explaining it well enough, if that makes any sense. Listen, I'm from a bubble. I went to a private school when I was younger. I have really loving parents, okay? I have a great family. We have a very interesting family dynamic, but I know I'm loved. I went out and did the most stupid, outrageous stuff. I'm not going to go into detail of everything. I don't think that it's time to reveal everything about myself, but I've had a lot of experiences, and that happened after I drove away from home, and drove to LA, and whether it be doing ayahuasca in the Amazon rainforest, traveling around the world, whether it be building stages or being on top of a whole, I can't, I'm lift certified, guys. I was lift certified at 18, building stages in the desert, basically, but not exactly the desert, just somewhere in California. And then after that, I've been to I can't even I went to millions and millions of different countries. Obviously not, but I could list, and because I don't know, but what I'm saying is I experienced a lot of terrible things too, a lot of great things, a lot of terrible things that really gave me some perspective, which I genuinely think was necessary for me to be the artist that I am and to grow. I literally had to have those experiences. If I did not have those experiences, if these things happen to me, if I hadn't even with my regular relationships, if I wasn't such a people pleaser and had to learn to put my foot down and do these things, these are things that I would never have been able to share and express with the world and express to you guys, even on just my TikTok lives or my TikTok or here or even in my art. I wouldn't have had those lived experiences and those thoughts and those ideas and those things where I could actually share the human experience with y'all if I had just been in my bubble and just like somehow became a great artist and making without ever experiencing the world, the real world. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know. I feel I'm still very young. My life is actually like feeling pretty together. I feel super happy with my life, to be honest. I'm doing jiu-jitsu. That makes me super happy. My job is honestly great, although I'm probably going to move, and so I'm going to figure that out in a little bit. I'm graduating in December. I have space to learn the guitar more. I'm putting hours in a day basically now. I'm still not that good, but I can feel it coming. I can feel it coming, babe. Okay, that was terrible. And honestly, never get me to sing on the spot because it will always be bad until it's not, maybe one day. But all I'm trying to say is that I've had all these experiences that I genuinely think I asked for. Every one of them. And I wouldn't wish some of them on anyone. I wouldn't wish some of my experiences on anyone, but I genuinely feel like for me to be quote unquote a real artist, which I think everyone is a real artist from the get. I think every person is a real artist from the get, by the way. But for me to quote unquote be a real artist, for me to be able to relate to people, for me to be able to have a shared experience, but also a unique experience, for me to be able to inspire people, all these things had to happen, including TikTok. I almost feel like blowing up in 2020 on TikTok was a necessity. In fact, I'm not saying that I'm going to be popular again, like really popular, and my music's going to blow up. Who knows? I might just be a producer, or I might just do marketing, and then be a hobbyist when it comes to music, and just make music for years and years and years. Because I don't think I'm going to be a great artist, quote unquote, for another 10 years, to be honest. Maybe even longer, depending on how much time I have and how much discipline I have in that 10 years. So, but what I'm trying to say is without all those things that's happened, without this perspective, without the grit of me having to do things to get myself out of those hard places, without me getting fucked over by those people, without those lessons, without me traveling the world, without me having run-ins with some people that will use you, and without people basically trying to take advantage of me and stuff, I would not be able to relate. This is what I was saying on TikTok. If I didn't blow up in 2020, first of all, in 2020, 2021, I couldn't even handle it. I mean, I was not mentally, I was mentally in a good space when it came to positivity, but I was not mentally in a good space at the same exact time. I can't explain it. I was able to inspire people with beliefs that I actually had, but I wasn't feeling. Like my Blue in the Grass videos and stuff when I was doing mental health. I'm not talking about the POVs, obviously. I'm talking about other things. But what I'm saying is that I did believe those things in the moment, but I wasn't secure with them. I can't explain it, obviously, because if I was secure with them, then I got to practice what I preach, is basically what I'm saying, and I must have stopped practicing it. And I never want to, say things that I don't really believe. And so, that's why, my actual art and social media literally reflect that. If I don't believe it, I'm not going to say it. So, but here's the thing. Unless it's a joke, unless I'm making a joke. Um, so, but yeah, I don't think that, I feel like I got to learn almost what it was like to start getting popular, to start getting, tons and tons of followers, to start to get fans, to start to get, to have to do a clothing brand, to have to do this, to blah, 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 without it getting too big, without it getting so big to the point where all the thing, like I could have got fucked over by people. I could have made some really bad decisions because I was immature. I could, I didn't have enough self-control. All these things, I would have had way too much without without growing up fully. Because I do think that I've always been emotionally mature in aspects, but not fully, in a lot of other aspects. And I don't know, that I just think it was really important that I grew up before I got too successful anyway. I really do. I think in the end, no matter what would have happened, because I do have a genuine heart, and I genuinely, what I think it would have been harder, and it wouldn't have been as, I think it wouldn't have been as good of an experience for me, and I don't think I would have been able to do it classically. It would have been a very sloppy growth, process, and I think that I'm glad that I got to grow some away from the world instead of in front of the world, because it felt like everything was in front. I mean, I couldn't do anything without thinking it was like, I mean, I remember just I used to go to parties with my friends, and people in my fandom would show up at the parties, and they had like become friends with friends of mine, and then like would show up at parties. And then, keep in mind, this is when I had like thousands of people in my Discord, and then I would go into the Discord or something later, and they were shit talking, being like, his blah 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 is just this, or he's not, or blah 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 this, or like I don't know, just I don't know, it just would say, I just felt like I was always being watched. And when you're with your friends and stuff, you're supposed to be able to like be yourself and relax, and not and mess up, or say things that, like literally say, just like I don't even know, crack jokes, but I'm not saying that's just like, you're supposed to be able to, like, if I want to get drunk, I don't need to worry about it. I don't really drink. I mean, I drink very occasionally, like once every month and a half, but at the time I maybe drink like once a week. But what I'm saying is, like, when you're at a party, I just want to party, you know? At that time, now I don't really party that hard, but at that time I just want to party. I don't want to think, well, whatever I do is going to go back in my Discord and be in a 25 person voice chat where they're just like saying all these things. Do you know what I mean? And no, I don't want handwritten notes from the stranger that I barely know, confessing, that's been hanging out with people that I kind of know, just making me feel like, are you even friends with that person? And then giving me, like, professing their love for me multiple times and saying they couldn't, you know what I mean? And then when I didn't do, like, I don't know, it's just, it is weird. It was weird. And I also, yeah, it was just weird. That was a weird time. It wasn't fair for me, and I just didn't know how to handle that. I didn't know how to stand up for myself, but also I wasn't like amazing in all aspects. I wasn't mature enough for certain things. So what I'm saying is, like, to me, it's all coming together, because now I definitely have a lot to grow and a lot to learn and a lot to be, but a lot to become. But I am everything already. Thank you, Lord. And I feel really, blessed to be here and have the space to be myself and to be a blossoming artist and a blossoming human who has grown and continued to grow. And I feel a lot more comfortable with who I am and where I'm going. And I genuinely think that I got and I'm getting what I asked for originally. And it's like when you say a prayer and you ask, like, to be more patient, and the next thing you know, you're in a bunch of fucking traffic, because you're gonna learn patience. That's what I mean when be careful what you ask for, because I said I wanted to be a real artist, and I said that I wanted to inspire people, and the universe said, okay, Well, now you have to go through things and learn things, and you have to put things into your own hands. You know what I mean? I feel like I learned social media, and now I'm learning to be an artist, and then I'm going to be able to put those skills together. At some point, I need to get in this economy, in this musical landscape. It's so saturated. I have to be able to put music out like repeatedly, and I'm just not that fast yet. It takes me a while. And so I need to get my skills up. But once I can get those up, I've already kind of got the social media chops. It's just it would just really just put yourself out there. And if it changes, I can learn it. If the landscape's always changing, and I'm smart enough to figure it out. So anyway, that's just a brief, story of how I've been molded to who I am without going into grave detail. I do want to go into grave detail sometime, but I personally believe that if I'm going to share that part of myself, then that will be a gift that I share to the world. A gift. I'm not special. I mean, like, a gift because it's very personal. So it would be very vulnerable for me to fully to go into anything that you share with anybody. Like, being honest is a vulnerability sometimes, So I just feel like I would like to basically, if I'm being honest, get the most out of it. And I think that would be waiting to tell that story. But it's actually, I'm like build it up. And the good thing is it's only me, Vicky, and Lisa right now watching. And whoever else. So cheers. Anyway, be careful what you wish for, but be courageous enough to wish for it. Okay? I believe in you. Follow your dreams. Your dreams don't have to be big. In fact, they can be as small as I just want to have a garden one day. And don't let the culture in the world make it seem like you have to be something grand. Because the most, and you know what? Let the culture make you think you have to be something grand, but realign what you think being grand and amazing is. It's never been to be the richest person. It's never been to have the coolest cars, which, by the way, if I get super wealthy, I'm going to have a cool car. I'm not saying I want to get a cool car. What I'm saying is that the grandest thing is to be an honest, courageous, good person who speaks from their heart, who is constantly trying to grow, and who wants to help, who wants to leave a positive impact on the world, no matter how small it is. No matter how small it is, whether that just be saying something nice to someone, making someone laugh. But that's what being grand is. Being grand is not being some crazy, rich designer, like whatever thing with lots of followers and all these things. That's not it. And it never will be. It never will be. But if you are going to shoot for that, if you are going to shoot to be one of those types of people, then just be a good person, because that's the coolest part. I love when I find a courageous, honest person that is broken through, and they're just genuinely trying to leave a positive impact on the world. Genuinely, I love that. And you know what, guys? Don't just get your information from clips. Look into things more, read about it, look at different sources, make sure that you get the full picture. Don't let the algorithm specifically cater who you are. Okay, you create your own algorithm just like you create you. Anyway, I believe in you. Don't think that you have to do anything crazy to be loved. You don't have to. And yes, I'm also gonna put my intro as the outro now for a little bit, because I think it's maybe affecting my views because people were like, what the fuck is this? And they got to get to my pretty face first. And also I need to get straight to the subject at the beginning, which I didn't really do fully well this time, but whatever. Be careful what you wish for, but be courageous enough to wish for it. I believe in you. I will hurt you. And that means I love you. Bye.